Every time you step onto a plane, you're only seeing a very small part of what's actually happening. Most passengers are focused on finding their seat, listening to the safety briefing, or just relaxing until takeoff. And that makes sense because that's all you're meant to see. But behind the scenes, during every single flight, there are so many things happening at the same time that most passengers never notice. Systems are working, people are communicating, decisions are being made in real time. And in this video, I want to show you 5 of those things based on what actually happens during a flight. Hi, my name is Claire Chepkoech and this is CC Signals and Snuggles, where we experience aviation, tech and lifestyle. The first thing most passengers never notice is just how much communication is happening during a flight. When you're sitting in your seat, you might hear an announcement from the pilot at a certain point in the journey. But what you don't hear is everything happening in between those announcements. Pilots are constantly communicating with air traffic services throughout the entire flight. This communication helps manage routing, altitude changes, traffic separation, and updates about airspace conditions. And it's not just a single conversation. It's continuous coordination happening in the background while you're watching a movie or resting. What I find interesting is that it's almost like having multiple systems working at once. Navigation, traffic control, weather updates, and decision making all happening in real time. And as a passenger, you never feel it. The second thing most passengers never notice is how closely weather is monitored during a flight. Before the aircraft even takes off, weather is already being studied in detail. But what many people don't realize is that it doesn't stop there. Weather information continues to be updated throughout the journey. If conditions change along the route, that information is reviewed and considered in real time. Sometimes adjustments are made to altitude or routing to ensure a smoother and safer flight. As a passenger, you might just experience a smooth journey or a few bumps in the air. But behind that experience, there are constant decisions being made based on weather data you never see. And that's something I've always found fascinating about aviation. The other thing passengers never notice is just how many people are involved in a single flight. Most people associate a flight with pilots and cabin crew, and yes, they are the most visible part of the journey. But behind every flight, there are many other professionals working together to make it happen. There are engineers ensuring the aircraft is safe and serviceable. There are ground staff handling baggage coordination and turnaround operations. There are dispatch team planning routes and fuel. There are airport operations team managing everything on the ground. What's interesting is that most of these people will never meet each other, but they are all connected by one outcome: making sure your flight happens safely and on time. And when you realize that, you start to see aviation differently. The fourth thing most passengers never notice is that navigation is happening every second of the flight. From the outside, it might look like an aircraft simply takes off and flies in a straight line to its destination. But in reality, it's much more dynamic than that. Aircrafts are constantly being tracked and guided using advanced navigation systems. These systems help determine position, direction, altitude, and route efficiency. Even when you're flying above clouds and can't see anything outside, the aircraft always knows exactly where it is. And that's because multiple systems are working together in the background to ensure accuracy and safety throughout the entire journey. As a passenger, it feels effortless, but behind the scenes, it's highly precise and constantly monitored. The fifth thing most passengers never notice is how many layers of safety exists in aviation. One of the most important principles in aviation is that nothing relies on a single point of failure. Instead, everything is built with redundancy. If one system fails, another one is ready. If one procedure doesn't go as expected, there is a backup. If one decision needs verification, there are additional checks in place, and this applies to both technology and human processes. What this means is that safety in aviation is not dependent on one person or one system. It is built into multiple layers of protection, and as a passenger, you benefit from all of that without even realizing. When you step back and look at everything together, it becomes clear that flying is not just about moving from one place to another. It's a carefully coordinated system involving communication, planning, teamwork, technology, and constant monitoring. And what fascinates me most is that passengers experience all of this without ever needing to think about it. Working in aviation has made me appreciate how much effort goes into something that looks so simple from the outside. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I enjoy sharing these insights. Because there's a whole world happening behind every flight that most people never get to see. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these surprised you the most? Or is there something about flying that you've always been curious about? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and see you in our next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Bye. See you next time.